Hello guys, good afternoon. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, the Explicit Tutorials. Please, as you watch this video, endeavor to subscribe, like, share and comment. In today's video, we'll be discussing AB111 Phylum Coelenterata. Phylum Coelenterata. I can also say that these organisms are called cnidarians. Now, before we go into the four classes of the Phylum Coelenterata, we'll be looking at the general characteristics of these organisms, or the general features that these organisms possess. Now, first and first, most of them are marine. Most are marine, while some are found in fresh water. A good example is the hydra. All right, hydra is found in freshwater habitat. All right, number two, these organisms are radially symmetrical. They are radially symmetrical. All right, three, they exhibit polymorphism. All right, they exhibit polymorphism, and polymorphism is common between species that occur as polyps. Some organisms are polyps, while some are medusa. All right. Some of these coelenterate are polyps, and some are medusa, or some of them are polypoid, while some are medusoid. Okay. Now, that is polyps. All right. Polyps, they reproduce asexually through budding. All right, polyps reproduce asexually through budding, and these organisms, they are sexile. That is, they are what? Attached. They are attached. All right, the polyps reproduce asexually through what? Budding, while the ones that are medusa, they produce sexually. All right, by fusion of what? Gametes. By fusion of gametes. And some of these organisms could be monoecious and others are dioecious. Take note of that. Now, the medusa, they are free living. They are free swimming organisms. All right, they have swimming organs. They have swimming organs, or they have organs for what? Swimming. That is for that. Number five. Now, these organisms, they also pose, I said most of them are found in marine habitat, while some are found in freshwater habitat. A good example is the hydra. Now, they are radially symmetrical. They exhibit polymorphism, the ability for them to exist in different forms. We have the polypoid forms and we have the medusoid forms. The polypoid forms reproduce sexually through what? Budding, while they are sexile, that is, they are attached, while the medusoid stage, or the medusoid forms, reproduce sexually through what? Fusion of gametes, and they have organs for what? Swimming. You see, they are free swimming organisms. Now again, they possess true nerve cells. All right, they possess true nerve cells. The true nerve cells possessed by the coelenterates are called protoneurons. All right, protoneurons are the true nerve cells that the coelenterate possess. However, they lack central nervous system. What did I say? They lack central nervous system. All right, they lack central nervous system. However, they have what is called the statocyst. Now, this statocyst is actually meant for what? Balance. All right, this statocyst is meant for what? Balance. Take note of that. Number six, which one again? These organisms, they are diploblastic. Okay, I think I'll bring it here. Let me bring it here. Where's the board paper, please? They are diploblastic, right? I said they are diploblastic. They are diploblastic. That is, they have two body layers. The external layer called what? The epidermis. The epidermis. You have it to be called what? Ectodermis, which is what? The outer layer. While the inner layer called gastrodermis. We call it what? Endodermis. Alright. The outer layer is called the ectodermis, that is the epidermis, while the inner layer is called gastrodermis, called what? Endodermis. Take note of that. Now, between these two layers, lies the mesoglea. Alright, the mesoglea. Between these two layers lies the mesoglea. Alright, which means that the mesoglea separates the epidermis from the gastrodermis. But in some cases, alright, this mesoglea may have or may possess certain cells, and as such, they now happen to be triploblastic. Because of the presence of what? The mesoglea. Alright, take note of that. Number 7, they lack respiratory and excretory system. Alright, they lack respiratory and what? Excretory system. Now, respiration is through diffusion. Respiration is through what? Diffusion through body surface. Alright, respiration is through what? Diffusion through body surface. Do not forget that. Number 8, now they have a type of muscular layer. Now, this muscular layer possessed by them is arranged in such a way that the outer layer, the outer longitudinal fiber, the outer layer is longitudinal, while the inner layer is called circular. Now, take note. The muscular layer in Phylum Coelenterata or in Coelenterates, you have it to be arranged as outer longitudinal as outer, but inner is what? Circular. Inner is circular, outer is what? Longitudinal. Don't forget that. Now, number 9, these organisms, they also have what is called stinging cells. They have stinging cells. Now, these stinging cells possessed by the cnidarians are called the nematocysts. Alright, nematocysts, they are called stinging cells. Okay, and number 10, they have locomotory. They have locomotory organ called tentacles. Alright, called tentacles. So these are the general features of Phylum Coelenterata, that is the Coelenterate or the cnidarians. Look at the spelling. Cnidarians, C-N-I-D-A, cnidarians. If you don't call them Coelenterates, you call them cnidarians, as the case may be. They have the same meaning. Now, so these are the general features of the Coelenterates or the cnidarians. So I believe everything was well explained. Now, the next thing we are going to be taking are the classes of the cnidarians. We have 4 classes of cnidarians. Okay, because of time, I'll be taking one. Then in our next class, we'll be taking the next 3 classes, or the other 3 classes. Now I've given us the characteristics, the general characteristics of Nigerians. Now classes of classes of Nigerians. There are 4 classes of Nigerians. You have one, you have the hydrozoa. Now the hydrozoas contains the hydroids. Alright, the hydrozoa contains the hydroids. Examples are the hydra and obelia. Alright, hydra and obelia are collectively called what? Hydrozoans, or they are called hydroids, as the case may be. Number 2, you have the scyphozoa. Alright, the scyphozoas, you have them to be the Aurelias. Alright, so Aurelia is a scyphozoan. Now number 3, you have the copozoan. Right, the copozoans are called the sea wasps. Alright, they are called the sea wasps. Okay, so these are the 4 classes: the hydrozoans, the scyphozoans, the copozoans. Okay, you now have the anthozoa. Alright, this way you have the coras and the sea anemones. Alright, coras, sea anemones are examples of they are found under the class anthozoa. Okay, so you have the hydrozoa, you have the copozoa, you have the scyphozoa, you have the copozoa, and you have the anthozoa. So these are the 4 classes of Nigerians. Okay, please take note: hydra and obelia are hydroids. Alright, or Aurelias are scyphozoans, sea wasps are copozoans, coras and sea anemones are anthozoans. Take note of that. But in this case, we are going to be taking the general features of the hydrozoans. Okay, where is the ball wiper? Okay, I've seen it. What are the striking features of class hydrozoa? The striking features of class hydrozoa. Now, please take note of this. Number 1 feature, you must take note that they are the most primitive. They are the most primitive organisms. So this class is the most primitive compared to other classes. Please, which of these classes is the most primitive? It is what? Class hydrozoa. Take note of that. And secondly, they alternate between the polypoid stage and the medusoid stage. All right, they alternate between the polypoid stage and what? The medusoid stage, which means they can be medusoid or they can be what? Polypoid. Okay, now take note: hydra is exclusively or solely polypoid. Please, hydra is polypoid. Hydra is what? Polypoid. But the most primitive hydrozoa, is the Trachylinus and it is medusoid. Medusoid. Okay. Now, Hydra is exclusively or solely what? Polypoid. But the primitive hydrozoans is, please, which of these is the most primitive hydrozoan? It is what? Trachinellas. The Trachinellas are the most primitive and they are medusoid in form. Take note of that. Take note of that. Which one again? Yes. Now, the hydromedusoid form, the hydromedusoid or the hydromedusa. Now, from what we've written now, which of the organisms listed is an example of a hydromedusa? It is what? Trachinella. Trachinella is what? Hydromedusa. It possesses what is called velum. Now, this velum is meant for what? Swimming. It's meant for swimming. All right, the velum is meant for swimming. It also possesses what is called nerve ring and statocyst. All right, so please, the organ for swimming possessed by the hydromedusa is what? Velum. Take note of that. Take note of that. However, the Scyphozoa, they lack velum and nerve ring. That is what distinguish the hydrozoans from the. Okay, you have other things that distinguish them from the Scyphozoa, but take note that the velum and nerve ring are not found in the Scyphozoans. Take note of that. Okay. Is there any other one? Is there any other one? I told you some are polypoid and some are medusoid. All right. Most of them are marine. Then Hydra is freshwater organism. All right. It's found in freshwater habitat. Okay. Now, all of the organisms mentioned. Okay. Now, the things that distinguish, the features that distinguish the hydrozoans from every other class are: one, they lack septa. They lack septa and filaments. They lack septa and filaments in their enteron. Alright, they lack septa and filaments in their enteron. And two, they lack nematocysts in their endodermis. Endodermis, alright? And also a thin, flat muscular membrane. So these are the features that distinguish the hydrozoans from every other class of the cnidarians. Take note of that. Now, please, the gastrovascular or the how do I put it now? The gastrodermis. The gastrodermis, all right, is how do I put it now? Okay, no. Please, the cnidarians, okay, intracellular digestion occurs in the enteron, and that is where digestion occurs. All right, digestion occurs in the enteron, while extracellular digestion occurs in the enteron, while intracellular digestion occurs in the gastrodermis. Okay, now the gastrodermis has one opening. Take note of that. And this one opening is called what? The mouth. Now you know Hydra possesses incomplete digestive system. It has mouth, but it does not have anus. Okay, so which means that digestion, the removal of waste from the body, is through the mouth. So you say it is what? Digestion. Take note of that. Now, a good representative member of the hydrozoans. Where is the board mapper? Oh God. A good representative of the hydrozoans is called Hydra. Oh God. I was holding. Excuse me. Let me. Oh God. All right. A good representative member of the hydrozoans is the Hydra. It is the Hydra. Okay. Now Hydra, which is polypoid, it produces a sexually through what? Budding. What is budding? Budding is a process whereby an outgrowth from the parent plant called the bud breaks off to form a new independent organism. I said budding. Budding is a process whereby an outgrowth called the bud breaks off from the parent plant to form a new independent what? Organism. That is what budding is. Take note of that. Okay. Now we said that Hydra is polypoid. That is, it is exclusively what? Polypoid, and it is what? Sexile. It is attached. Now there are different cells found in these organisms, and I told you guys before that the muscular layer of the cnidarians is arranged in such a way that you have the outer to be longitudinal, the inner to be what? Circular. Don't forget that. Now there are different cells found in the in Hydra, different specialized cells. One, there's what called the epitheliomuscular cells. Epitheliomuscular what? Cells. Epitheliomuscular cells. Now, what is the function of this? These cells are found on the epidermis. All right, they are found scattered on the epidermis. Okay, what do? They are found covering the surface of the surface, that is body surface of the organisms, and they also enhance muscular contraction. All right, the epitheliomuscular cells are found on the epidermis. What they do? They cover the surface of the organisms, and they enhance what? Muscular contraction. Take note of that. Number two are the interstitial cells. Now these interstitial cells are found on the basal disc of the epitheliomuscular cells. Right, they are found on the epitheliomuscular cells. Now, what is the function of these interstitial cells? One, they produce cnidoblasts. All right, it is cnidoblast that produces the cnidocyte. You now have they produce sex cell, right? They produce sex cell. They produce a bud. All right, you know I told you that bud is the outgrowths from the parent plant. It is this bud that produces a new organism. Now you don't have nerve cell. Now nerve cells, buds, sex cells, cnidoblasts, are produced by the interstitial cells, which are special cells found in hydra. Number 3, you have the next one to be the gland cells. All right, the gland cells are found near the mouth and basal disc. All right, they are found near the mouth and what? Basal disc. What are the functions of these gland cells? One, they produce adhesive substance. They produce adhesive substance. And secondly, they produce floating substance called gas bubble. Gas what? Bubble. Which of these specialized cells produces gas bubble? Now, the gas bubble produced by the gland cells, the gas bubble produced by the gland cells help the hydra to float. All right, it helps in the floating of what? The hydra. That is what the hydra uses to what? Float. Take note of that. The next one is these are rub it off. The next one is the which is number 4, cnidocyte. All right, cnidocyst or cnidocytes, as the case may be. Now, these cells, they are majorly found on the tentacles. All right, they are also found on the epidermis. All right. Now, what is the function of these cells? One, they penetrate and inject the prey, so you call this penetrant. All right, they penetrate and inject the prey, so you call it what? Penetrant. And again, they recoil and entangles they penetrate and inject the prey with poison. With what? Poison. All right, poison. Okay, now they recoil and entangles the prey. You call this volvent. All right, you call it what? Volvent. Again, they produce substance for locomotion and attachment. All right, they produce substances for locomotion and what? Attachment, and these are called the glutinate. All right, take note of that. So these are the features of the cnidocysts. All right, they are found on the epidermis and as well as what? The tentacles. Tentacles, I told you, are meant for what? Movement, locomotion. And number 5, you have the sensory cells. All right, the sensory cells are distributed all over the epidermis. All right, they are found all through the epidermis. Okay, now these sensory cells possess flagella. Okay, these sensory cells possess 2 ends. They possess 2 ends. One end has the flagella. The flagella is responsible for receiving chemical stimulus. All right, it receives chemical stimulus. That is, one end of these sensory cells receive what? Chemical stimulus. The other end has the synapse, and it is this synapse that contains the nerve cells. All right, one end of the sensory cells has the flagella, the other end has the synapse. Okay, this synapse contains what? The nerve cells. Take note of that. Now the next, number 5 is, I don't know if this place will house it. Okay, number 6. Number 6, there lies the gastrodermis. Gastrodermis. Now, this gastrodermis is scattered. Okay, the interstitial cells and gland cells are found scattered in the gastrodermis. All right, gastrodermis. Now the gastrovascular cavity of the Nigerians is there's a fluid present in the gastrovascular cavity. Okay, and the gastrovascular cavity is surrounded by gastrodermal cells. All right, gastrodermal cells, and the interstitial cells and the gland cells are found scattered on the gastrodermis. Now, what is the function of the gastrodermis? What does the gastrodermis do? What does it do? All right, the gastrodermis helps in the it helps in the circulation of food nutrients. All right, it circulates food and blood. It circulates food and what? Blood. And 2, all right, it helps in the movement of water into the body. It helps in the movement of water into the body of the organism. Take note of that. And 3, I said that the interstitial cells and the gland cells are found scattered on the gastrodermis. I'll ask you, which of these is scattered on the nutritive cells of the gastrodermis? Which of the following is scattered on the nutritive cells of the gastrodermis? It is the interstitial cells. It is what? The interstitial cells. Which of these is scattered in the nutritive cells of the gastrodermis? The answer is what? Interstitial cells. They are found scattered on the nutritive cells of what? The gastrodermis. And the gland cells are also responsible for the production of enzyme. For the production of what? Enzyme, which helps in the ingestion of food. So the enzyme produced by the gland cells, initially I told us that the gland cells are found on the mouth of the organisms, and they produce enzymes. These enzymes help in the ingestion of food substances. All right, ingestion means what? Food intake. This word means food intake, but while ingestion means the removal of undigested food particle. Take note of that. Then number 7 now, you have the nerve cells. You have the nerve cells. Now, the nerve cells are generally what? Multipolar. All right, generally the nerve cells are what? Multipolar. But in some organisms that are highly developed, all right, the nerve cells are not multipolar, they are dipolar. which means that highly organized or developed Nigerians are dipolar and not what, multipolar. Take note of that. It is very, very important. Good. That reminds me, NB, take note, NB. Okay. The thickest part of the flagella is found in this stalk, body stalk, while the thinnest is found on the tentacle, which means that thickest is to this okay, thickest is to the stalk, all right, while thinnest is to the tentacle. Now the function of this thickest part of it is to prevent or protect the organism from what? Mechanical injury. Mechanical what? Injury. It protects the organism from what? Mechanical injury. And secondly, providing flexibility to the tentacle. Flexibility. It provides flexibility for the tentacle, and I told that the tentacle is meant for what? Locomotion. Alright, so please take note of that. Is there anything that I've not dropped? Okay. Nutrition. Yes, nutrition. The hydra feed on smaller organisms in the aquatic environment. Okay. Then digestion. Yeah, I told you they don't have digestion occurs in the enteron. Digestion occurs in the enteron, and respiration is through diffusion via body surface. All right, they don't have respiratory organs, so diffusion is yours. Respiration is just through diffusion, and that happens throughout the body surface. Reproduction is through budding. Okay, reproduction is through budding. Take note of that. And I said they are best found in fresh water habitat. At this point, we call it a day. However, in our next class, we are going to be discussing the other three classes of the Nigerians, which are the Scaphozoa, the Copozoa, and the Anthozoa. Thanks for watching. Please endeavor to subscribe.